Hi people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've been having a great day so far. If it's your first time here, my name is Katrina DeVille, and I am a trans woman, musician, activist, creator, welder, car builder, all sorts of things. But on here, I try to speak a voice of truth and education and love, and try to talk about transgender issues and what it means to be trans in 2025 during a pretty hostile timeline. I think it's really important that positive voices and hearts are present and outspoken during this time, because there's so many malicious factions working against us from the outside that it can be really overwhelming. So here I am, and if you've not subscribed yet, please do. Welcome to the community that I have started here. Some wonderful people, and today, I think I'd like to talk a little bit about resources for trans people. So, my previous videos, I talked a little bit about hormones and regimens for transitioning, and I talked about, if you've not watched those, I would urge you to go give those a listen and a watch. I talked about the hormones that are prescribed and the dosage and the procedures and that sort of thing. But how do you go about getting those things? How does that now that you're trans, what's your next step, right? So resources are really important. And being transgender is such a personal thing. You usually make this realization on your own about yourself. So it's not like, and it's because it's been looked down upon by our society for a bit. It's not like you just want to run out and ask first, like, hey, do you know anything about this? Yeah, it's so it's up to the people that have been walking the line for a minute to try to help new people, and also try to help allies understand these are the things that we go through. These are the protocols and the procedures and steps, and this is the journey. Welcome to being trans, right? Okay. So, when I decided I was going to do this, I wanted to make sure it was being done correctly. What I mean by that is, this is a medical thing. This affects your entire being. So make sure that you have supervision with this. Make sure that you have a licensed professional helping you. There's all sorts of different kinds of licensed professionals that can help trans people and cis people. And the crazy thing about it is, health providers who provide care for cisgender women are usually the same ones that provide health care for transgendered women. So these facilities, these institutions, these care providers who exist for cisgender women also exist for trans women. And one that I had known about, but maybe a whole lot of people don't, is Planned Parenthood. The radical right likes to give a bad name to Planned Parenthood, that they do abortions and that's all they do, and it's it's against this religion or that religion, or like it. I'm not going to sit here and debate about religion. That's a personal thing, and that's up to each individual. Whatever you believe is 100% okay. But Planned Parenthood does far more than abortions. And this whole timeline of the government trying to take funding away from Planned Parenthood and make it so that they can't provide any care, it's just wrong, y'all. It's upside down. They provide checkups for women. They provide, the list is it's pretty lengthy. And one of the things that they provide is hormones for trans women. I knew this. I don't remember where I ever figured it out. But knowing this, and now you know it too, you now have a resource that if you have no other avenue to pursue becoming your true self, you now have one. You have Planned Parenthood. So I called them up, and I went over this in a previous video, but I called them up and they put me in touch with this lovely nurse, and we spoke for a while about my previous health records, and she ran me through the checklist that to do of making sure that you're not a bonkers crazy person, And she prescribed me very low dose of hormones and sent me on my merry way. And I guess, sent me on my merry way is just a fun way of putting it. But my first appointment with Planned Parenthood was done with telehealth. And that is important to point out. And the reason I say that is because I know, because being transgender is such a hot button topic right now, and it's such a dog whistle. We've been politicized, and we're the pariahs of 2025. Here I am, evil me. Rah. Yeah, no. It's all made to incite fear. It's all done to incite fear. The same fear that right-wing politicians use to motivate their base to come and pick on us, to come and try to humiliate us, try to insult us, try to make us feel less than. It's all done from a point of fear-mongering, and that can affect how a trans woman goes about doing things too. So the idea that telehealth exists is such a glorious thing, because if you're too afraid to go outside yet, it's whenever you're trying to do something for the first time, people are usually really nervous about it, unless you're a bonehead and have no self-awareness whatsoever. If you're just I remember the first time I went to ride a bike, and my dad and my mom and my brother were watching, and I had no idea what I was doing. I think I was like 4 years old. Here's this bike. You wanted a bike? Yeah, awesome. And they stick me on it and push. And yeah, I didn't do so hot. I crashed into a tree. But probably would have done a bit better if I hadn't felt like everybody was watching me. How's she gonna do? There can be a lot of nervousness when you try to do something for the first time. So the idea that there's telehealth available is fantastic, and absolutely make use of it. So my first Planned Parenthood appointment was done over the phone and over video like this. It's great. What they do is they start you off on hormones, and then after a month, that's enough time of doing them every day that you've started a new baseline inside of yourself, basically. So you go actually into the office, and they will draw your blood and do tests, and then you'll get your test results, usually before the nurse does. That's kind of fun. And then a couple days after, they'll give you a telehealth call, or you go back in, whichever you prefer, whichever's easier. I just did telehealth because it was easier. And they go over your results and express concerns and things like that, ask you if you have any. And if things need to be adjusted, they'll adjust them, and they send you on your way again. And in a month, they will have you come back in again and check again, especially if they've had to adjust it. So Planned Parenthood is a really, really good resource. Funnily enough, Google is a pretty good resource too. I'll get into that in a second, but what I would suggest first off, very first thing you should do, I got a little ahead of myself, but the very first thing you should do is check your insurance coverage and see what things you qualify for help with, whoever your insurance provider is. I don't know if there's any insurance provider that denies all trans health care. There's some that are more friendly than others, but check your insurance and see what they will provide for. That way, you know what you can have them take care of. It will save you money to be able to put it into other aspects of this. It's not a cheap thing, transitioning. So it's really important that you budget, and you if you can save money in some ways, you'll be able to put it in other things like clothes or makeup, things like that. So check your insurance. I found out that Planned Parenthood was covered. My prescriptions were covered, which is, it's kind of comedic because feminizing hormones are ridiculously cheap. I mean, first of all, nobody's just deciding they're trans and going and having surgeries. It doesn't work like that. Surgeons won't even talk to you. They won't even look at you unless you've been on hormones for at least a year. So this whole idea of transgender for everybody, yeah, it doesn't go like that. So then, when you finally realize how much hormones cost and all of this fervor, all of this Rah! Trans people are bad and they're stealing all the government's money. Estrogen costs about $30 a month. That's like $1 a day. You know, people pay more for some coffee that's not even that good for, you know, more than $1 a day. So it's like, it's pretty cheap. But my insurance covered it, so it's $30 that I don't have to pay every month. Fantastic. That means I can get, you know, a new lipstick, or I can get a new shirt or a new skirt or what have you. There's the average cost of transitioning for a trans person, if you go through all the surgeries that are available, and if you, you know, clothes and makeup and hair products and non-surgical procedures like microbladed eyebrows. These are things that insurance isn't going to cover. These are things that are definitely gender affirming, but it means that you have to pay for it out of your own pocket. Over the grand scheme of it all, we do end up paying for most of it out of our own pocket. So this whole outrage that trans people are, you know, stealing the public's money and all that, it's just not a thing. But they would like you to believe it is, so that they can continue to erode rights and services for everyone. Anyways, so after you've looked over your insurance and figured out what things are covered, I would imagine you'll find some good news in there, that there's you're able to get some things taken care of by your insurance company. That you know, when I found out that Planned Parenthood was covered, I called them right up. Didn't even hesitate, because it was like, oh, well, there's actually no hurdle in the way. Good. I found out that gender therapy was covered by my insurance, and that, I will tell you, very highly recommend it. Very, very highly recommend. Gender dysphoria, not feeling in alignment with how your outside is compared to your inside, when there is this mismatch, and then you start to freak out about it. You start to, that's gender dysphoria, basically. Therapy for gender dysphoria is totally covered by some insurance companies. So I went on Google and I started to look for gender therapists. And lo and behold, there was a whole bunch close to where I live. So I started to reach out to them. She has become such a treasure to me. For your own peace of mind and your own sanctity of heart, absolutely search out a gender therapist if you believe you are trans. I started in on it pretty much right away. I've gone to therapy in my previous life for other things, relationship help. I had a total lack of self-awareness when I was younger, and therapy definitely got that whole world of being able to see myself It opened it all up. So I can't say enough good things about mental therapy. It carries this stigma with it of there's something wrong with you. You go to therapy, so there must be something wrong with you. I think we need to get past that right away. That's a fundamental issue of why we have so many problems in this country, because it's such a neglected thing. Mental health is just as important as physical health, maybe even more important, because everything related to you as a human, your thoughts, your dreams, your physical makeup, it's all connected to the mind and the emotion. And they're intangibles, but they affect the tangible, and that's mental health. So it absolutely affects your existence, the overall of it. If your insurance provides for gender therapy, absolutely go. If it doesn't, and you can afford it, absolutely go. Highly recommend it. It's not. Is it mandatory? No. It will help anyone. We're all human. We all struggle with things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going to see a therapist. Give it a shot. I swear. I'm going to make a believer out of you. Well, so, I went to Google and I found like 20 therapists in the nearby area that deal with transgender people and deal with gender therapy, and they deal with gay people and queer people, non-binary, and like, I'm lucky to live in an area where there's care providers that can help. I know some people don't have it quite as lucky, but I also know that there's therapists that do telehealth too. So, see, what a wonderful thing in this day and age that we have access to this. You can actually access people outside of your area to help when your area might not have someone to help. So, check your insurance, see what it covers. If you have a doctor, go see your doctor. If you're not comfortable seeing your doctor about it and you want to see someone who doesn't know you on a personal level, if you've been going to that same doctor and you're just too anxiety filled, like Planned Parenthood, it gives you another option. And they're licensed nurses and doctors, and they will help you. Seek out therapy. It's wonderful. She not only helps me with gender therapy, but she just helps me to have a better life in general. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it. Seek it out. It's important. You're important. Your mental health is important. Amazon. Of all the crazy things to list as reference, like I said, when you start to do something for the first time, it can be really nerve-wracking. You can be pretty freaked out and not want to, like, okay, so trans, like, I need girl clothes because we're doing this. And I have to go to a store, be on display, and like people be like judging and nope, Amazon. And I know everybody's gonna give me a bunch of crap about you shouldn't be buying things from Amazon or try to limit what we buy from Amazon because they support the Trump regime and all that. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I do. And like I don't buy every last thing from Amazon, and I'm not telling you to do that either. I'm not telling you not to. You are your own person. You can make your own decisions. These are all suggestions, not be all end alls. So, because Amazon has so much stuff, there's such a wide variety of things, you can absolutely build a wardrobe from Amazon. You can absolutely get a makeup collection going on. You can pick and choose things and try things out. And a lot of this is trial and error. Especially if you are trying to be under the radar as you first start. You can order things from Amazon, have it dropped off, and you can try on clothes. And if they don't fit, you can send it back. And their size suggestions are actually pretty good. I've had really good luck with them. I think there was only one thing. It was a leather jacket that I ended up having to send back. It was about one size too small. But other than that, their size suggestions are great. The variety of stuff that they have, like you can pretty much put together any look you want to off of there. There's all sorts of name brand stuff on there. And there's Amazon brand cheap stuff too. And their cheap stuff's pretty good. I mean, their shirts and their skirts and things like, the some of the Chinese clothes or whatever. It's great. It's cheap. It shows up at your door. You don't have to go out there and be on display in front of all these people looking at you like, hey, what are you? Oh, you're one of them trans people. They would be so lucky. Trans people are unicorns. That's why the radical right is so upset. That's why they get so full of fear. Evil trans people, yeah, we're unicorns. There are still ways to go about this, even if you don't have insurance, even if your insurance doesn't cover things. Like, I mean, even if you were a poor person, even if you don't have hardly any money at all, there are still ways to go about doing this. It might take you a little bit longer, but there's things like GoodRx is a prescription app. It won't write you a prescription, but that app in particular has deals on drug prices. So you can save a ton of money by using an app like GoodRx if your insurance doesn't cover. So one of the other reasons why that gender therapist has been so much of a asset to me is she provides me with more resources on a regular basis. I'll show up to therapy and I go once a week. I'll show up to therapy and she'll say, here's these voice training apps. And here's, when I got my name changed, she gave me a whole worksheet on things that you have to get changed when you get your name changed, like your credit cards and, checking account and, things like that. So you end up finding that your initial resources will give you more resources. They will help you along. And that's when you know you have a really good, solid team working with you, is when they start giving you avenues to go further and further and further. So, it's a crazy time to be a trans person in the world, in the United States. And we have politicians that try to demonize us, try to pin all of the negativity of society on us. No one does transition for clicks. The cards are stacked against us. So this is definitely the difficult way of going about life. But if this is how your heart aligns, there is no other way. Like, that's the only reason someone would transition, especially in this timeline when it's just like so looked down upon and so difficult because of the hurdles that politicians and bigots are trying to place in front of us. By speaking up, I hope to dissuade them. I hope to, that's the only way to combat negative rhetoric and negative information, negative sentiment, is to actually put out the truth. Speak it in a way that people can understand and try to help people. So, there, I gave you some resources that if you're trans, now you have some avenues to be able to start on your journey. Absolutely recommend therapy, and I would probably just start by calling Planned Parenthood. It felt a lot easier to just call someone who had no preconceived notion of who I was before, someone who wasn't going to dead name me, misgender me, like, they're very, very sweet, very compassionate, and they treated me great, I'll tell you that. So I think I will leave you for today with that. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. I think I might just come back too in a day or so. There's something that I wrote last week, and my therapist actually said I should think about making a video about it, and I'll probably come back in a day or so and make a video about that. But I will leave you right now with this. I hope these resources help some folks. Feel free to, leave some questions or whatever in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer things if I'm able to, or I will direct you to resources where you might be able to find the answers that you require. So it's my pleasure to be a voice of positivity and love in the trans community, and I'm thankful that you're all here with me. Have a great week. I will be back before you know it. Make sure to click like and subscribe, and click the bell so you know when I have new videos come out. You'll be notified. And until then, hearts and stars for y'all. I'm Katrina DeVille. Ciao.